exam, I am going to conduct a quiz for that. Okay, two quizzes shall be there for your 20 marks internals. And don't worry, I shall give you time before I'm scheduling the quiz. Like 1 week before, I'll inform you all that what is the course of that quiz and what is the timing. So all the details will be provided to you, and it will be informed well before the scheduled quiz. Okay, so that was one instruction for C batch students. They were not knowing actually, because they it was not yet confirmed. So that instruction was for C batch students particularly. Okay, I'm presenting my screen. Just acknowledge when you can see it. Okay, I hope it is there for everybody. Fine. So we are going to start with your unit number 2, a very small unit, introduction to your data structures. Okay. Now, before moving forward to this particular unit, I just want to know exactly that what do you mean by data? First of all, what do you mean by data?
Information, useful information.
You can unmute yourself in the and answer. You can write in the chat raw information or a collection of information. Yes, correct. And what do you understand by the word structure?
Organized.
Organize.
Simple English meaning is also fine. I'm not asking in form of computer language. What do you understand by structure?
The way it has
Organized
been
way,
arranged.
very good.
The way it has
Yes.
been arranged or ordered.
Anything else you can say about structures?
The way it has been arranged or ordered.
In a specific way of format, yes, right? See, data structure is actually your fundamental subject in your computer science engineering. Okay, so in depth of that topic to understand your data structure is very important. Why? Because when you are let's say into a programming field or a developer field in future, when you are becoming the developers or the programmers, so in that domain you are going to build or say give solutions to the problems which are persisting in the society. Okay, and to build that problem, those software systems in an efficient manner, you need the knowledge of your data structure. Okay, so the teaching scheme and evaluation scheme, I'm not explaining it again. I have already done that in the lab sessions. Okay, the topics which are going to be getting covered here is the data management concepts. Okay, the data types, that is your primitive and non-primitive types, the types of data structures which are available, and in that we are going to see the introduction about your linear data structures and non-linear data structures. Okay, so first of all, going to your data management concepts. Okay, I already told you why DS is important for you to get to know. Now in this DS you have some concepts of data managing. Okay, so like if you can say, before going for creating any program or say data for that particular program, you should be aware with how to manage that data. Okay, so your data structure, you can say, is all about data organizing, data managing, and data storing. Okay, so you can say that when you are talking about data management concepts in your data structures, then what does it include? What does that concept include? Then first, the thing it is going to include is about data collection part. Okay, how your data is getting collected in your program, or say being a programmer or developer, how you are collecting your data, in which manner, in which format. Okay, so that is one of the important part. Second, how you are organizing that data, that is the one of the aspect. Now in organizing the data, you can organize, you are going for a sequential organization of the data, or you are going for non-sequential organization of the data. That depends on what application, or say the program you are working on. Okay, so the first management data management concept is including data collection. Second, it includes organization of data in proper manner, in proper structure. And third is about maintaining that particular data. Okay, so you develop and maintain the routines. For what? To maintain the quality of your program. For example, initially, if I tell you that add two numbers, okay, I am giving you a problem that write a program to add two numbers. I am not defining you the type of numbers, okay, the type of data. So it is on you, let's say 48 people. So I have 48 kind of combinations. Okay, one will take data type of integer, one student will take data type as float, another will go with the integer type but will do typecasting somewhere and convert it into float. So there are various combinations which I'm going to get for my summation data, right? So that combination is okay if it is your choice, but if I want to get a uniformity, I have to take care about how the data is getting collected. So I'm going to tell you that okay students, I want float type of data only. So I am giving you a constraint here that my data collection should be of type float. So ultimately what I did, I also targeted this second point, organizing the data, because float is in a linear, it is a primitive, sorry, it is a primitive type of data. Okay, so I am organizing the data in form of float, like point decimal values. Now if I mention that after decimal I want only two decimal points in the float, then again I am more optimizing that organization. Okay, so that is what data collection and organizing part. Now comes the third part, which is of developing and maintaining. You have already created the code and given it to me that okay madam, this is the summation program where you asked us to give the addition of two float numbers. Now I am using that program, but in future I am no more in need of float values. Now I want integer values, right? So of course the memory space which is required by integer and float is two different things, are two different memory spaces. Okay, so I am going to develop a program where I am now taking only integer values. Okay, so I maintain the quality, like there is no memory wastage. So I'm maintaining the quality. So instead of float, now I'm using integer. So these concepts, when we are talking about data management concepts, these are the three concepts which include in your data management. Okay, data collection, organization of a data in proper structure, and developing and maintaining these routines. Okay, for the purpose of your quality assurance. So if we define what is your data structure, then we can say it is a particular way of storing and organizing a data in your computer so that it can be used efficiently. This is what you can say the formal definition of a data structure. Data structure is a particular way of sorting and organizing your data. So that includes your data management concepts. okay, in a computer, so that it can be used efficiently. So you are taking care of your quality assurance also. So that is how the data management and data structure are related. Okay, this slide is clear. Okay, fine. So moving forward, I guess only 3 student is clear. I don't know why others are not answering. Preet, Aditya, and Divyajit. Only these three out of 56. Okay. So fine. At least I expect 8 to 7 answers of yes. Either here or either you can unmute yourself and answer. I don't mind. Okay. Thank you, Rishabh, for answering for all 50. Fine. So what is your data types? Okay. Your data types are actually the classification of a data. Which you can store a specific kind of an information in those. Okay, so in your C language, in your last semester in your C language, what all data types have you used? Just name them. Unmute and answer. Anyone?
Long,
Character,
double, float,
Tushar, can you please repeat?
double flow, float, flow.
Correct. So all those double, float, integer are actually your primitive kind of a data type. Now, attention here, and if you want, you can, note this tree, or you can say the flow chart. At the very top, there are types of data. Okay, these type of data are divided into two. First is your primitive data structures, and second is your non-primitive data structures. So integer, float, character, double, pointer are your primitive kind of data structures, okay, which you already know, because you have used these somewhere in your C programming in your last semester. What we are going to see in this semester, particularly in data structure subject, we are going to get introduction about your non-primitive kind of data structures. Now in non-primitive data structures also, there are two kinds. One is the linear data, okay, and in linear data you have your arrays. Then there is lists. Again, list has different kinds of variants into it. So there is singly linked list, okay, then there is double linked list, there is circular linked list. Okay, so one linear data, one is array, another is list. Inside the list, again, there are bifurcations, or you can say the types of list. So there is single linked list, there is double linked list, there is circular linked list. Okay. Then there are stacks. In your linear data, there is one more kind of a data called stacks. There is queue. Okay. Now your non-primitive data, that was your linear portion. Now going to your non-linear data type. Attention onto your right hand side of the screen. Non-linear data type. Okay. In your non-linear data type, there is trees. Again, in trees, you have bifurcations like types. So binary trees, binary search trees. Okay. And one more kind of linear data type which is available is your graphs. So total, this is the whole, you can say, a picture, a flow chart where you are identifying the types of data. The very first, or you can say the root, is types of data. Two types: primitive data structure, non-primitive data structure. In primitive data structure includes float, integer, character, double, and pointer, which you already know. And these are, the base data structures, like from the initial days when the language was got just developed. These were the primitive kind of data types which were getting used. Once the development of the language went on to the advanced level and the requirement of the programmer increased, then non-primitive data structures came into picture. In that, you have two kinds of data structures in non-primitive. One is the linear kind and another is the non-linear kind. You will get to know why it is called linear data structure and why it is called non-linear data structure in further slides. But for now, understand that in non-primitive data structures, you have two types, linear and non-linear. In linear, what all data structures are included? One is arrays. Arrays you must be also aware, because in C you have used arrays. Okay. Then it is queue, stats, list. In list, again you have bifurcations or say types, that is single linked list, double linked list, and circular linked list. And in your non-linear data type, you have graphs and trees. In trees, you have types as binary trees and binary search trees. Okay. So in exam, if there is a question, let's say of 4 marks, that identify the types of data, then you can draw this flow chart and write in a very few sentences about each of the part of this flow chart. Okay. Or let's say in MCQ, it is getting asked that in non-primitive data structure, what are the types of what are the available types of data, non-primitive data structures? Okay. Then yeah, options will be like arrays, integer, character, double, or it can say graphs, integer, character, double. Then the right answer is either array or graphs, because they both come under non-primitive data structure. Okay. So that is how questions can be asked from this particular flowchart. So this should be clear with all of you. Okay. Now moving forward, how you are going to exactly select what kind of data type you are supposed to be using, or say you want to use. Okay, then there are few things that you need to keep in mind while selecting your data type. The first thing is the analysis part. Okay. You need to analyze your problem, that exactly in your problem what is required. Like, is the problem asking you to insert something, or is it asking you to delete or search the data? Okay. So according to that problem, you are going to select a data type. Why? Because we are also going to take care about the memory which is getting consumed by it. Okay. Different data types is going to consume different kind of memories and different amount of memories. Okay. So analysis of that problem is an important part before you are going to perform a program solution. And this is basically for selecting your data type. Second thing which you need to take care is about the quantity of the resources. Let's say you have 6 students in a batch. Okay. So right now you can use arrays of size 6, but then what you are doing, instead of arrays of size 6, you are assigning array of size 7, just to make sure that if at all any one student is getting added like later on, then there is no memory issue. Okay. But what if instead of 6 only 5 students are getting enrolled? Then you can say there is a memory wastage of 2 students currently. Okay. So you need to take care of those resources also. So that's why you need to take care about the quantity, that what exactly resources, or say the constraint on the resources for each of the operation is. Okay, so that is what quantify the resource constraint for each operation is trying to tell you. And the third thing, you need to select a data structure which is meeting your requirements the best. For example, you can do the summation program using integer also, using double also, using float also. But if I am telling you that I want only integer kind of values and still you are using float, then exactly what you are doing, you are creating a memory wastage, because integer will consume 2 bytes of memory and float is going to consume 4 bytes of memory. So if you can see in a bigger picture, in a broader way, though you are doing it correctly, the program is absolutely correct. You are giving me the summation values. But if you see in a broader way, the memory which is consumed is getting wasted actually. That much of memory is not needed, because I have mentioned you that I want only integer kind of values. Correct? So before going for programming, how you are selecting your data types is a very important aspect. And to select those data types, these three portions, the ones which we are seeing right now on the screen, are very important to be analyzed, or say to be look on. First is the analysis of the problem, what exactly it is the problem is asking you to do. Second, the resources which you are going to require. Okay, and if there are any constraints, like the variable should be of type integer only, so that is the constraint. So accordingly you need to decide how many resources you are going to need. And third is the select the data structure which is best meeting. Now I have already told you that I want integer type, so you are not going to go for float type. Okay, you are going to go for the integer type only. So these are the steps of how you are going to select your data type. Okay, now going on, this explanation was regarding your primitive data types. Now as I said earlier that you are going to get introduction about your non-primitive data types also. So we are moving forward on that part. In your non-primitive data types, okay, you have linear and non-linear types of data structure. So we are going to discuss the linear data structure here. Now can anyone tell me, just look at these three words, linear data structure. What can you make out of it? The meaning. What meaning can you make out of it? Linear data structure. Data and structure you already said, so you can skip that part. What do you mean by linear? Yes, in a line. There be, you are also correct. Sequential. Any other answer? Structure of linear data types. Yes, in a broader manner. Anything else? At the same level, okay. Single series. Yes, partly correct. Linear means in a sequential form. Okay. The data structures, the linear data structures which are included are in a sequential manner. So the memory allocation which is happening in your computer will be in a sequential form. For example, memory allocated from 100 to 110. Okay, so 100, 102, 104, 108, 106, 106, 108, 110. So like that, it will be in a sequential manner. And that's why those kinds of data structures consuming the memory in a sequential manner come under linear data structure. Okay. So you can see the elements which are stored when you're using your linear data structure, those elements are stored in a sequential format. Okay, you can traverse in forward direction or backward direction. Fine. If you can recall the concepts of arrays, using index values, you were traversing in the arrays. Okay, like ARR of 0, then ARR of 1, ARR of 2. Okay, so you are traversing. Either you are going forward and doing some operations, or either with the help of index you are coming backward and doing some operations. Fine. So that is one of the property. The examples of your linear data structure is your arrays, stacks, queues, and linked list. Okay, so this is what it is included in your linear data structure. For example, I am taking an integer type of an array. The name of the array is roll number, and size of that array is 10. So when this particular line of code when this particular line of code is getting executed, let's say integer roll number 10. Okay, so array roll number of size 10 is getting executed. So at the back in the memory space, what your CPU is going to do, it is going to assign total, how many you can see, 10 memory blocks. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. 10 memory blocks will be consumed by this roll number array. And what will be the total memory consumed by it? 20 bytes. If it is an older compiler, again, it depends upon the compiler. If it is an older compiler, it is going to assign the integer part, this integer data part, as 2 byte each. So the size mentioned is 10. So 2 into 10, so 20 bytes. But if your compiler is new, modern compiler, the integer size it is going to take as 4. Okay. So 4 into 10, it can be 40 byte also. So 40 byte is also correct answer. 20 byte is also the correct answer. Okay. So this is how the memory is getting allocated to your array at the back. Now, coming to your non-linear data structures. Okay. Now tell me, we understood what is linear data structure. Now tell me, what do you understand by the word non-linear? It is very easy now. Branched, okay. Not sequential, yes. Anything else? Anything else you can say about non-linear word? The non-linear data structures, Rishabh, branched, yes, it can be represented in form of branched. Yes, Tushar, you can say discrete also. The branched, you can say that is how it is, represented. As Div is telling at different level, correct. The non-linear data structures are actually those kinds of data structures which are storing elements in a non-sequential manner. Okay, so you can say they are not stored in a sequential order, just as we saw here previously, that you can see there is a sequence. So the starting address of the first index can be 100, okay, then 102, then 104, 106, 108, and so on. But in the case of linear data structure, the elements are not stored in sequential order. Okay, even there are branches. Branches means levels. So there can be more than one level for just one data structure, and they are also known as nodes. Okay, you cannot traverse it in a single run. For example, here if you want to traverse, you are just applying a for loop, okay, and you are traversing it. Let's say you are applying the function to display, so you'll use one for loop for this array, okay, and by doing I plus plus and the condition previous conditions, you are going to display using your printf statement, okay. But that is not the case here in linear data structure. You cannot do it in a single run, okay. You have to apply iterations or say recursions, so that you can traverse it into the trees or say the graphs. The example is your tree and graphs. Fine, clear till here, everybody? Okay, with this we are completing your unit number 1. I told you it is a very easy unit, okay, and a very short unit also. So if you can see here, we have completed this unit number 1, okay. And what is my methodology, that once we complete any chapter, I am going to revise the concepts or related to that chapter in a form of a quiz, okay. So it is not any kind of a competition or any kind of compulsion that you have to give me right answers. And don't worry, it is not a difficult quiz also. It is related to what we have learned, okay. And the quiz questions here are related to the concept of your arrays. Arrays you have already learned in your second semester. You have applied the concept of arrays, so it will be a revision for you. And array being a part of a linear data structure, so it relates to this chapter also. So I'm going to show you the question, okay, and you need to answer me. You can unmute yourself and answer, or you can write in the chat, but I would encourage you guys to now speak up instead of writing. I would encourage at least a few students, not all at a time, to give answer by unmuting yourself, okay. Fine, so let's move. The very first question is, an array is the most widely used data structure, a homogeneous structure, a random access structure, or all of these?
It is a homogeneous structure.
Okay.
The homogeneous.
It is actually all of these. Why? Because see, homogeneous, yes, sure, it is a homogeneous one. Widely used, yes, because in linear data structure, the base where you are starting is from array. Okay, so probably it is most widely used data structure. Random access structure means you can access any of the element of your array using the index part. Correct? So randomly you can access any of the element. So the right answer is all of these. Next question. So that's why, see, carefully understand the question, read it, and then try to answer it. Okay? You have to tell me, I'm going to show you the declaration. You have to tell me what does it mean. Okay? This is the declaration. Integer in the bracket star pointer and size is 10. Without option, can anyone tell me what is it? Let's just try.
An array of pointers.
Correct. It is an array of pointers. So the options are here. The pointer, PTR is an array of 10 integers. PTR is a pointer to an array of 10 integers, and PTR is an array of pointers of 10 integers. Okay. So the right answer is B. PTR is a pointer to an array of 10 integers. So each and every one of you who has answered, you are correct. It is array of pointers. Wait, Arjun, it is not array of pointers. It is actually a pointer to an array of 10 integers. Okay, not vice versa.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, the next question. What is the right way to initialize an array? You can write answer for this in the chat if you know. These are your options. Observe the options correctly and carefully, and then give me the answer in the chat that which one according to you is the right way to initialize an array.
A.
Okay. Why not B or C or D? Can anyone answer? Why not B? First tell me why not B?
Because
The
curly
index
braces
should
are
be in
not
square
allowed.
bracket.
Just any one student.
The index should be in square bracket
Correct. Why not C?
because it is in curly bracket, the index part.
Yes. And why not D? Again because of the brackets.
There is no index also.
Correct. So the answer is option number A. All of you have correctly answered it. Very good. The next question. Array is an example of dash kind of a memory allocation. Your options are compile time or runtime. Think carefully and answer. Array is an example of dash type of memory allocation. Compile time, okay. Any reason for compile time? Devansh, answer me why it is a compile time memory allocation. You have answered A. So why it is compile time?
When the program compiles it at that time only it initializes the memory.
Correct. It is a compile time, and the reason which is given by Devansh, it is absolutely right. So I'm pretty much happy that your array concepts are really clear, not just one, but with all the students. Okay, good. Okay, the next question. And array elements are always stored in dash kind of memory locations. Sequential and random or none. Easy. Sequential. Right? Because your array is a linear kind of a data structure. Correct? So the memory allocations or cell locations will be sequential. Which of the following is an example of static memory allocation? Arrays. Correct. The explanation I have given here, because the array are your static memory allocations, whereas in your linked list, queue and stack, they are all being implemented using your DMAs. Okay, dynamic memory allocation, your callocs, your mallocs. So array is the example, and array is the right answer for static memory locations. That's all from this chapter. Okay, and we have completed this particular chapter here, your unit number 1. Okay, in tomorrow's session we are going to start with your non-linear data structures, And first of all, we are going to start with arrays. Okay. Now I am very much clear that you are, very much good in your array part. So I guess it will be a smooth ride for you to understand the representations of arrays. Okay. And we'll see the operations, the structures, and how the arrays is getting stored. And if time permits, we are also going to see the sparse matrix. Okay, that is what we are going to see. And that is, the lecture is tomorrow between 9:30 to 10:30. All right, any doubt in these topics? Yes, Harshvardhan dear, I'll share the PPT. Is it okay if I share the PPT onto your e-content? Okay. It will be shared today itself, along with the syllabus, which we have, which I'm, continuously showing it to you. So this syllabus part and this PPT, I'll upload it. I suppose it was a very easy unit, but still, if there are any slightest of doubts, you can ask me here. Okay, so we are going to keep this session till here only. All right. Thank you all for attending this session.